Hello and welcome back. As usual, no bullshit, let's crack on straight with the list. So number 43 then, we've got Resident Evil 4 on the Wii in 2007. Now, I've seen a lot of top 100 lists when I was getting ideas on how to present my list. And I see Resident Evil 4 a lot. It's been all over the place at different numbers in different people's lists. And I fucking respect that, because this game was the only good one since Resident Evil 2. I didn't really get into Resident Evil 3 for some reason. And Resident Evil 4 for me was just that trip back. You know, you got to be Leon again, so you were familiar with the character. And the way the Wii brought it to you, you know, using that remote to try and shoot the fucking things while they're scaring the shit out of you with chainsaws, that was fucking truly frightening, which was what Resident Evil was all about. And, you know, nothing really compares to the sort of the way that the Resident Evil games make you feel. And Resident Evil 4 was a fucking cracking example of that, with loads of new features in it and stuff, and the replayability as well. You know, once you complete the game, you get the Tommy gun and the infinite rocket launcher, and you can just go at it, and you know it now, so you're confident, you're not scared anymore. And that was a good feeling, you know. It's like you've overcome some stuff, so you can actually go and challenge again without having all that fear behind you, stopping you from going certain places, look at a certain feature. You can just do it again with these wicked weapons, man. And that was really cool. So yeah, that's why it's going so high on this list, because it's a fucking great game. And at 42, Red Dead Redemption, PS3, 2010. Now, Rockstar done an amazing job on this game, because I never played it at first. I kind of ignored it. I think I touched on it and thought, nah, not for me. And it wasn't until my mate Stu, who's not really a gamer, he said, you have to fucking play this game, Joe, because it's fucking awesome. I just spent like a few hours around my mate's house hunting cougars and shit. And I was like, what? So I fucking tried it, and oh my god, he literally was doing that. And you can do, you know, you can just sit out in the wild and just hunt whatever you like. But for me, what sold it the most was the character. John Marsden. He was fucking real, man. That guy I felt so bad for when he died, you know. I didn't give a shit about Jack, he was a bit shit. But John was fucking awesome, man. You never, it's rare that you get computer game characters that you fall in love with. You know, there's only a handful on this list that I can say I actually truly have fallen in love with these characters. And John Marsden is definitely one of them. Wasn't a big fan of the weapon wheel. I don't like weapon wheels. I don't know, think of something else, but I'll deal with it. Anyway, that is a fucking great game. And, you know, the soundtrack that they used from real shit, and the atmosphere that it gave, it felt like the Old West. All those favourite films that you have, if you like that, apart from Blazing Saddles, are in that game. Seriously, take a look. So at number 41, we got Dynasty Warriors 4 Hyper Edition for Windows in 2005. Now this game goes on the list because Dynasty Warriors is one of them franchises that will be out forever. I'll be 75 years old playing Dynasty Warriors 92, and things will still be as serious as they've ever been. It's all the same hack and slash, press square a lot and do your moves to attacks, but it's so enjoyable to just go around and kill thousands and thousands of people. They say KO in that game, but it's actually kill. You know what happens. You kill them mofos. So yeah, that Dynasty Warriors 4, out of them all, you know, I used to live in not the best area, and it was easier to just close the door, stick a game on, invite your mate round, and just play that game for hours on end and forget about the shit outside. And that's probably why it's so high on this list, actually, because, you know, it has that extra feeling. Games that make you feel a certain way at certain times of your life have got to have an extra credit for them, and this is one of those games. So yeah, me and my mate Dan, we smashed this game over and over and over again. So yeah, that's why it's going on this list. Moving on. So number 40 then. Wow, we're getting through this fast. It's Mario Paint on the SNES. It came out in 1992. Now, fuck all the painting aspect to that game. It weren't about that for me. What it was about is the music the music mode. I'm a big fan of music. I've made tunes, you know, and done loads of stuff music. If I started to roll stuff off, I'd be here forever. But for me, this game was all about the little mushrooms and the things that you used to put on the music sheet to make noises. That for me was the Fruity Loops of the early days. You know, you could make your little tune on there, and that would keep you occupied for hours and hours and hours, and you'd play it back, show your friends. I don't think you could save it either. So I think you could save a couple, actually, thinking about it. You could only save one or two. So yeah, if you made something and you didn't want to delete your old shit, you'd have to like put a tape recorder up to it or something like that to get the sound to record onto the tape. But yeah, that was a fucking great game, and I think a lot of people overlook that. But recent years, I think about 4 or 5 years ago, I looked online and I saw that someone had made just that music part from Mario Paint, which was awesome. So I had a little fuck around with it. Didn't get very much done with it, but yeah, it was just nostalgic basically. It was nice to go back and remember that thing. So if you haven't tried it and you've got a SNES, give it a go, because it was one of those only SNES titles to use the mouse as well. I remember using that.
You join us just in time.
So at 39, we've got FIFA Road to World Cup 98, PSX 1997. Now, I know I said I'm not a FIFA fan earlier on, but this game was different, man. It was like the World Cup, which I was well into at that time. Don't ask me why, but everyone around was loving it. It was all in a good mood, and this game came out to support it. So it was like, yeah, we've got to play this game. And it wasn't me who owned it. It was my friend Dale. I used to go around his house and play a lot of PlayStation games, actually, because I didn't get one until a little bit after he did. So yeah, Road to World Cup, the reason it's the best FIFA ever is because you could press L1 and it would push people over. That is the reason I played this game. I was like, wow, turn the referee strictness all the way down, press L1 all the time, and you've got yourself a brand new game of football there, you know. None of that stupid rules everyone faffing about and red card this. No. Carry on, boys. Let's go for it. So yeah, that's the sort of games me and my mate Dale used to play, and that's why it's going so high on this list. Other FIFAs I'm not really into, because again, they've turned from games into sims, and I'm not interested in that sort of thing. A sports simulator, that doesn't interest me. But pushing people over, everyone loves that.
Carambo. Cruise.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Okay, so at number 38, we've got Jurassic Park on the SNES that came out in 1993. Now, my mum took me to the movie to go and see Jurassic Park, and I fell in love straight away. So that's why this Jurassic Park game goes a little bit high on the list, because it's the best one. The other one that came out on the SNES was pretty shite. I made her take it back to the shop and get this one, actually. So yeah, the reason why this one was so good, it was like an isometric game where you played as Alan Grant going around the Jurassic Park basically, shooting dinosaurs, doing the story from the film. And what was unique about it actually is because you could go into a building and then it would become a first-person shooter, which was crazy at the time. You either had one or you had the other. You never had both. So that was cool. And it was really hard. I don't think I ever completed it. I don't think I ever had a tutorial or anything like that. And I don't think I got very far. Or maybe I did, but I just don't know, because I didn't know what order to do things in. I couldn't remember where things were. I didn't have a map, you know. It was crazy. It was like being lost in Jurassic Park. It was fucked up. But I really enjoyed it anyway, and that's why it's going so high on this list. So 37. We are going back in time now to 1986. We have got Super Tennis on the Master System. Now, the Master System was the first console I ever owned, so that's why this is a big thing. And Super Tennis was a game that I must have spent hours and hours and hours on. We weren't a rich family, so I didn't have a lot of games, and my mum, I think the reason she bought me this game is because I think she was a bit in love with Andre Agassi, either that or Pete Sampras. You know, she loved the tennis players at the time. I think she liked them all, actually. Thinking about it, Goran Ivanisevic, if that's even his name, you know, all of those people. I remember the way she used to talk about them. Thinking about it now, she used to fancy those guys. But anyway, Super Tennis, she bought me this game, and I spent years, literally years playing this game. And I remember that damn Master System, that pause button and the reset button were the fucking just next to each other. And I remember I completed that game on hard, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna go and show my mum that I beat Andre Agassi or whatever. They didn't have names, but you could pretend. And I pressed the fucking reset button, so I had to do it all again. I think I shed a tear that day. So at number 36, we've got a WWF Smackdown, just bringing it on the PS2 in 2001. Please do not hate me for putting too much Smackdown on this list, but it's such a great game series, and this is one of the earlier ones, but it was the first one to come out on PS2, and it had such a massive update in the sense of graphics that everybody was so stunned, you know. Everybody I knew who played games played the Smackdown games before this, so we were all well psyched to get this game and play this game, and, you know, to have that enhanced story mode, everything enhanced for the PS2. It's like, I think, one of the only games that you can think of nowadays that get a massive overhaul for the next engine. You know, usually it's just a small couple of bits and bobs, like Just Cause 3, for example. But this, it just seemed so much more for us back in the day, you know. Maybe I am looking at it a bit with rose-tinted glasses, but it's just the way things make you feel, you know, and if you feel so strongly about them, it just gives them extra points to go higher on the list. And this is one of those games, you know, we all played it, we all loved it. So at 35, we've got The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past on the SNES. It came out in 1992. Now this is the only Zelda game on this list. I just didn't like the later ones. I don't know, when they changed the whole system into the, you know, the N64, I didn't like it. So yeah, that's why they're not on the list. I watched a friend play through both the N64 ones actually, and it was an alright story. But yeah, Link to the Past is my one because it was on my SNES, man. And yeah, I smashed the shit out of that, and it was one of those games where me and my other friend Michael, we were just trying to play through, and we weren't that old at the time, so we didn't have that many smarts, so we couldn't figure out the game. We had to call that phone number that you ring to try and get through the games. I remember he did one time, and he tipped me off about how to get past one of the parts in there. But I remember that game just taking me a fucking long time, simply because you just wander around and you explore the whole world there. It's kind of like an open world. Well, it is. Really, I guess it's one of the first kind of open world games I kind of played. But I played the one before that on the Game Boy, but I played it on my Super Game Boy. So that was what got me into it, because I really liked that. But this one I liked even more. So that's why it's so high on this list. Now, at 34 is my only PlayStation Vita game on this list. It's Uncharted Golden Abyss that came out in 2012. Now, this goes on this list because I had never seen nothing like this on a handheld system before. I was a big fan of the original games, and I thought, oh yeah, spin-off, it'll be alright, I'll try it because I got a Vita and that. But it added more, I thought, than took away, because it had more game mechanics, you know, with the touch screen and stuff, so it added a few more things into it, and it stayed true to the Nathan Drake series. It was Nathan Drake, you know, on another adventure. So if you love that character, like I talked about earlier on in this list, which, you know, I fell in love with Nathan Drake as well, yeah, it was just such an awesome spin-off to have, and, you know, because you just wanted more Uncharted at the time. That was very sufficient. I didn't play it as soon as it came out. It took me a little while to get around to playing it, but I'm so glad I fucking did, because it was so awesome. Anyways, that takes us to the end of this portion of the vid. I'll catch you next time.